Good morning. You're listening to The Brief Wake Up, your mindful start to the day. I'm Handel, your daily coffee companion, helping you wake up informed, thoughtful, and maybe just a little amused before the day gets old. If you're commuting, corralling kids, or just standing in line for caffeine, you're in the right place. Let's get you caught up. As usual, health first. How much sleep do we really need? We've all heard it. You need 8 hours of sleep. But the truth is, sleep isn't one size fits all. It's more like nutrition. Different bodies, different needs. According to the National Sleep Foundation, adults generally thrive on 7 to 9 hours each night. Teenagers need closer to 8 to 10, while older adults do fine with 7 to 8. Some people function well near the low end of that range, but almost no one performs their best with less than 6.5 hours consistently. What's most important isn't just how long you sleep, it's how well you sleep. A full night's rest flows through natural cycles. Light sleep that relaxes the body, deep sleep that repairs tissue and muscles, and REM sleep where your brain processes emotions and memories. Miss any of those regularly, and it shows in your focus, mood, and even blood pressure. Now for a little myth busting. I can function fine on 4 or 5 hours. Science says otherwise. Chronic sleep loss dulls reaction time, judgment, and creativity almost as much as being legally drunk. You might feel used to it, but your brain is quietly running diagnostics on half power. The scary part? You may stop noticing the decline and believe your level of function to be normal. Sleep debt adds up too. Losing an hour or two a night over the week can feel like you've skipped an entire night by Friday. And catching up on weekends helps a little, but it doesn't fully reset your body clock. That's your circadian rhythm, the internal 24-hour timer that tells you when to wake, eat, and rest. So, what's the real takeaway? Aim for 7.5 to 8 hours on most nights. Go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time, even on weekends. Keep screens, caffeine, and heavy meals away from that final hour before bed. And make your room cool, quiet, and dark. Your body loves consistency. Because when it comes to health, energy, and emotional control, sleep isn't a luxury, it's maintenance for the machine you live in. You don't recharge your phone to 30% and call it good enough. So don't do that to yourself. Now for our news. The Saudi Crown Prince's visit to Washington and what it means for the US. This morning, let's talk about a major diplomatic and economic development. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman returned to Washington this week for a high-profile visit to the White House and to attend the US-Saudi Investment Forum, his most prominent US engagement in years. At the White House, the Crown Prince and President Trump outlined a sweeping vision for the future of the US-Saudi relationship. MBS pledged to increase Saudi investments in the US from roughly $600 billion to nearly $1 trillion, targeting American technology, AI infrastructure, energy, and advanced manufacturing. It's a huge signal. Foreign capital, especially from the Gulf, is becoming central to America's economic and technological strategy. At the investment forum, major U.S. companies signed agreements worth more than $270 billion, spanning AI, defense, clean energy, and logistics. And on the military front, the administration signaled openness to a potential sale of advanced F-35 stealth jets to Saudi Arabia, something previous administrations avoided because of regional sensitivities. It marks a shift toward deeper military integration between the two countries. But beneath the handshakes and the business deals, this visit represents a larger strategic realignment. For the US, Saudi Arabia isn't just an oil powerhouse anymore. It's a global investor, a technology partner, and a regional counterweight to Iran and China. So Washington is choosing a path that prioritizes strategic capital, military cooperation, and tech partnerships, even when it comes with political risk. And that brings us to the question at the center of this new relationship: Saudi Arabia's human rights record, including the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, restrictions on free expression, and the detention of activists, has not disappeared. But the tone in Washington has shifted. Lawmakers who once condemned the crown prince are now welcoming him. Corporations that previously distanced themselves are signing major deals. So, the question for American leadership, and really for all of us, is this: how should the United States balance the economic and strategic benefits of a closer partnership with Saudi Arabia against the very real human rights concerns that come with it? That tension between values and interests is now at the heart of U.S. foreign policy. And this week's visit made clear: the stakes are only getting higher. For today's Big Sip, the trap of normalcy bias. Let's talk about something subtle but powerful: normalcy bias. And I want you to picture it like this. Normalcy bias is a mental autopilot. You're cruising at 30,000 feet. The flight has been smooth for hours, and because nothing has gone wrong yet, your brain assumes nothing will. The sky looks clear, so you convince yourself it is clear, even when there's turbulence ahead that everyone else can see on the radar. That's normalcy bias. It's the belief that because life has always looked a certain way, it will continue to look that way. It's the quiet whisper that says, relax, this will all go back to normal. Even when the instruments are flashing red, you see it everywhere. People ignore the early signs of economic trouble because previous dips always bounce back. They overlook shifts in their industry, AI, automation, changing consumer behavior, because nothing major has happened yet. Teams miss warning signs inside their own organizations because they're used to the system correcting itself. It's not stupidity, it's comfort. It's the mind choosing familiarity over forecast. But here's the problem with flying on autopilot. It works great until it doesn't. And when the conditions change, when the winds shift, when the market moves, when technology leaps forward, autopilot keeps you locked into yesterday's settings. Normalcy bias delays the reaction. It keeps you steady when you should be adjusting the altitude. The people who thrive in these moments aren't the ones who panic. They are the ones who look at the radar, not the sky. They respond to patterns, not nostalgia. They understand that turbulence is a signal, not a surprise. So how do you break the bias? First, stop judging the future by the comfort of the past. The past is the flight you've already taken. Today's conditions might be different. Second, update your mindset as quickly as the data updates. That's how pilots stay ahead of the storm. And third, stay alert when things feel too familiar. Autopilot is great for cruising, but not for navigating change. Normalcy bias makes life feel smooth, but it blinds you to the shift that's already happening. The moment you turn off autopilot and take the controls, you become aware, adaptable, and ready for the change before it hits. And that is your big sip for today. Now onto the lighter roast. The surprisingly messy history of the engagement ring. Now let's talk about something that feels ancient, sacred, and deeply romantic, but started as one of the greatest marketing campaigns of all time: the engagement ring. Now, if you ask people today why we give engagement rings, you'll hear everything. It symbolizes eternal love. It shows commitment. It's tradition. But the truth is much funnier and much less poetic. Historically, engagement rings go back thousands of years, but not for romance. In ancient Rome, the ring wasn't a declaration of love, it was basically a contract marker, a you're off the market tag, more like a security deposit on a human being than a romantic gesture. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, rings were symbols of financial promise, social alliance, or, let's be frank, insurance against a guy getting cold feet. But here's the real twist: the cultural hook. The modern diamond engagement ring didn't become a must until the 1930s and 40s. And who made it a must? De Beers. Yes, a diamond company essentially said, hey, what if we convince the entire planet that love isn't real unless it comes with a mineral extracted from 100 miles below the earth? They hired copywriters, bought Hollywood endorsements, and in 1947 dropped one of the most successful taglines in history: a diamond is forever. That's when everything changed. People didn't propose with diamonds, they were told to do so. Is this a romantic tradition? More like emotional advertising mixed with a little social pressure and a sprinkle of, if you don't, you're a bad partner. And here we are today, with people taking out financing plans at jewelry stores like they're buying a used Subaru. Meanwhile, Gen Z is over here proposing with lab-grown diamonds, sapphire rings, vintage bands, and occasionally an Amazon cart wish list, because nothing says eternal love like delivery arriving Thursday between 7 and 10. But maybe that's the point. The engagement ring should never be about the stone. It's been about the signal, the gesture, the I choose you, whether it's a diamond, a ruby, a tattoo, or a ring made from recycled things or parts. And honestly, if the future of dating teaches us anything, it's this: love evolves, traditions shift, and the ring, no matter the material, is just the accessory. The relationship is the actual jewel. For today's commemoration, November 20th carries a mix of meaning, from the global to the historical to the sweet. First is Universal Children's Day, a day created by the United Nations to highlight the rights, protection, and well-being of children around the world. A reminder that today's kids aren't just inheriting the future, they're actively shaping it. And the tools we're giving them, from technology to education, will determine what that future looks like. It's also Revolution Day in Mexico, marking the start of the Mexican Revolution back in 1910, a decade-long struggle that reshaped the nation's political landscape, labor rights, and social structure. It's a day of parades, history, and reflection on how movements for justice and change echo across generations. And finally, because the world can be heavy and humans need balance, it's National Peanut Butter Fudge Day. A little nudge to treat yourself, enjoy something simple, and remember that life's small joys matter too. So today we honor the next generation, a nation's fight for transformation, and the universal human right to have something sweet all in one morning. Today we broke down how sleep truly fuels the mind and body, why 7 to 9 hours isn't a suggestion but a performance upgrade, and why cutting corners with rest quietly cuts corners on your life. We dug into the geopolitical weight of the Saudi Crown Prince's visit to Washington, a moment where America's strategic interests collide with its stated values. And we wrapped with a reminder that awareness beats autopilot. Love is shaped by culture as much as chemistry. And on a day that honors children, revolution, and a little peanut butter fudge, balance is the real power move. I'm Handel. Be curious, be kind, and top off that cup. Till next time.